Welcome to another day in the Matrix, waters above crypto. Happy full moon, everyone. It's the day the waters above wolves have been waiting for. The harvest moon is tonight, and in today's video I'm going to dive into the Bitcoin and XRP charts to share my thoughts on how I see this playing out for the crypto market this week. And over the weekend I released my latest Red Pill episode for the Patreon Mastermind community members, my weekly technical analysis podcast going over a bunch of altcoins. And in this week we were focusing on the opportunities for this full moon bearish energy that we've been talking about on this channel in the last couple of videos. We anticipated this second drop for the market this month, and it's beautiful to see it coming to life in the charts. So now we just need to develop a plan of action to position ourselves for the rest of this bull run. So if you're new here, we do cryptocurrency technical analysis and combine it with Gematria Numerology and Astrology to understand these markets. Feel free to subscribe, turn on the bell notification to stay updated on when new videos come out, and make sure to give this video a like and share this channel with other conscious people to help grow this community. And for those of you that want to learn how to do technical analysis and combine it with Gematria, you can join my mastermind course. My email is in the description box to get in contact with me for access to the course. And with that being said, let's take the red pill. So we're just going to discuss a couple of the reasons why we were able to anticipate this drop in the market. Again, if you are new to this channel, go ahead and watch my last 2 or 3 videos. You'll be seeing how we utilize this Gematria code, which is essentially the numerical value of letters added up into these codes that we can see on the screen. And we have today, which is the harvest full moon, the harvest moon. And this full moon energy has been continually bringing us bearish price action. I've been talking about this for almost half a year now, and we've been seeing the new moons bring us bullish energy, and this window of time being around 5 days before or after a full moon or a new moon. And we've seen lately actually huge volatile changes in the market on the day of a moon cycle. So for instance, on the night of Rosh Hashanah, that transition on September 7th, that was a new moon, and we saw a major drop in the market. And we were able to anticipate that for a lot of reasons, one of which being the month of September is actually the 7th month of the actual calendar. The Gregorian calendar is a scam calendar. Sept or septa is 7, and the day of the 7th in the 7th month gives you 77, and these 7s are very powerful because this year we are in the Shemitah, which is the sabbatical year. It is a 7-year cycle. Again, another thing that we've been talking about since about May. Getting prepared for the start of Shemitah has been life-changing for me and all of my followers to be able to trade the volatility of this market and get in position for the rest of this bull run. So the reason why I was so interested in this particular full moon is not only is it the full moon after Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, it is also, it's called the harvest full moon. And again, Shemitah is the 7-year cycle, which on the 7th year, it goes into a sabbatical year for agriculture. That was the historical purpose of it. Lately, it has not held such a position, and it's been more about finances. And that's why every 7 years we have a major financial chaos. So I've discussed that in my previous video. Go ahead and watch that if you want to learn a little bit more. But more importantly about today's video, the Shemitah is the release or sabbatical year for agriculture, and this full moon being called the harvest full moon. I saw way too many connections. So we have this 201 here in harvest full moon. Again, with the rules of numerology, you'd be removing that 0, you go back to 21. And then you have here with the reverse ordinal cipher, you have the 24, removing the 0. And then more importantly, you have that 69. And that 21 and that 69 connection comes back to Saturn. You can see that right here, 21, 69. And this is a very powerful combination. Again, we saw in harvest full moon, we have that 204, which is actually the 24 in reverse. 24 becomes 42, the mirror of that also coming back to Saturn with the 42. And this 204 is tied to Jupiter. The 24 is the logo of the Jupiter zodiac. Look very closely and you'll see what I mean. Somebody commented on a recent video saying that it actually is a 21. That is absolutely incorrect. Go ahead and look up the Paris Olympics for 2024, and you will see that they utilize the 24, the same exact shape and design of the zodiac of Jupiter. It's beautiful to see them hide it in plain sight. You know how these elites work. So more importantly, I was really excited about this connection because this 69 is a powerful number coming back to Saturn. You could see the 69 right there. Another thing would be New World Order. With that 69, you get it right there. And then the last and final being our favorite, the Illuminati. Sorry, I spelt it wrong. 69 with Illuminati. And again, I always type this out live so that way you could see the way that I do this code. Again, it's kind of like a tutorial. You could learn a lot from just seeing how this all works. So we have that connection there where there's a powerful energy. Again, 6 flipped upside down is the 9, 9 flipped upside down is the 6. It's just an as above, so below energy, like the yin yang. It's a very powerful number in that regard. So today is Monday, which is very important as well because Monday is the day of the moon and we have a full moon. And of course, Monday gives us that 72. That 72 comes back to Bitcoin right there. And of course, we know that Bitcoin was created by Satoshi Nakamoto, and Satoshi Nakamoto is Saturn. And again, like the beginning of my video showing you harvest full moon gives us that 21 and 69 coming back to Saturn. And it's even more obvious because if you study Bitcoin, you know that there's 21 million Bitcoin in circulating supply or in supply right now. Circulating, I believe it's somewhere around the 18 million, if you might want to correct me, but that 18 number is very important coming back to Shemitah again. So anywho, what's more important about this video is discussing this huge connection here today being the harvest full moon, harvest tying back to Shemitah with the agriculture release. And then also tomorrow is another important thing. But firstly, let's discuss the 70. So remember what I said, Shemitah is a 7-year cycle. So we have that 70 with the removing the 0, you get back to the 7. And what we have here is the date added up as 9 plus 20 plus 20 plus 21. And we get the 70. Again, coming back to the 7s. But this date numerology added up the way that I do it, it's very unique. I haven't seen anyone else do it at this level. It's very interesting, but I've seen this form of numerology used and it works very well in my work, where essentially you just break up the year. You have the 20 and the 21, you break it up, and the way you add it up, there's no further reduction. Of course, 70 would just be reduced down to 7 anyways because you remove that 0. So we have Shemitah in English ordinal cipher giving us 70, and then you have the date numerology being the 70. Perfect connection here. So this is really interesting. Another thing we could do is we can type in the date numerology being 9/20/2021, and we could see that's the 16. So in 2 days on the 22nd, we come back to the 18, and that 18, of course, connects to Shemitah with 18. This is a very powerful number in Judaism and Hebrew. So why is this date tomorrow so important? The date tomorrow is extremely important because I'm going to show you the huge connection here. And if we start at the first day of this year of 2021, again, the year 21 being the year of Saturn, and we go to tomorrow, it is the 263rd day of the year. Some people, if you consider January 1st as part of this, it would actually be today is the 263rd day of the year. Doesn't really matter, just food for thought. This 263, it actually comes back to the 56th prime number, okay? The 56 number is really important because it comes back to Society of Jesus, and the Jesuits are running our financial system, our law, everything that happens in the courts, because they are part of the cult of Saturn. And this cult of Saturn, the Society of Jesus, the Jesuit order, along with the Catholics, and they are utilizing Washington, D.C., the Vatican, and the City of London as their trinity to control humanity through finances. Okay, so let's move on because we have a lot of things to say in regards to our technical analysis. We're going to move on to Bitcoin. But remember, the big warning about this full moon and about the energy that it could bring, seeing Bitcoin come down 6%, seeing these alts come down into the double digits, pretty nasty pullback today. The stock market just opened about 15 minutes ago. It's been very volatile. I've seen the Dow Jones go from 500 points negative, upwards of 200 points, back to 500 points negative, just over and over again. There's a lot of volatility today, and it has everything to do with this full moon, okay? So what we're going to discuss in Bitcoin is very powerful because we were expecting a W breakout. And when it was forming this neckline and I was seeing multiple days of resistance, I was telling the people over in my Discord, no, that if we get a daily close for Bitcoin above $48,500, it could get really, really interesting. From a technical level, and me being a technical analyst, any daily closes over that 48,500 would have brought some serious problems. So we didn't get that. The highest close we saw, I believe, was on Saturday night at 48,300, followed by a rejection on the next day. And here's what's most critical, because we have two pieces of analysis that I helped you guys out with in my last video that came to life. And one of them was the daily close below the 21 exponential moving average. So I told everyone the 21 EMA, once we close below it, we anticipate downside. If we continue to close daily candles above it, we consider upside. So you can see right here, we had this huge death candle, came right below the 21, and then we stayed below it. The day that we broke above it, we actually traded on top of it for about 5 trading days. Then yesterday, the daily close came below the 21, and then a huge dump. Of course, these being back-to-back very important days because you have this being the new moon and this being the full moon. Okay? So we can see how important this lunar cycle is, but more importantly, we could also see how much better it all works when you know technical analysis. Because I gave everyone the topside resistance level literally within $300. And then I told everyone, expect any closures on the daily below the 21 to get a dump. That came to life. And then I also said, anticipate a retest of this wick. I actually said this on the video of the 7th of September. So go back and watch this video on the 7th of September. And I was very adamant about seeing a retest of this wick to eventually come. And we saw it happen literally within a couple dollars. According to this index chart, it even made a lower low, but it doesn't matter because these are just wicks. So we're seeing this all play out, and now what we want to see is a couple of days of maybe recovery. We could continue to see low price action and blood in the streets for altcoins, though. It's something I've been warning about for a while. This is the last transition into Bitcoin season, where essentially we see moving into October, Bitcoin makes new all-time highs by the second into third week of the year, and then continues through November all the way into December with a new all-time high. This time, you will see Bitcoin dominance get back to 50% or more. It's a very important thing for people to learn about because they're so focused on altcoins right now, but the altcoins are just entering an opportunity stage. And before, a couple weeks ago, when we were back here at these highly inflated prices, I was telling people about de-risking. Basically positioning yourself for a huge dump. And not only have we seen one dump, we've seen a secondary dump. And now some of these coins, including XRP, have actually made lower lows in the structure. So let's just take all this into account and kind of go from there. Now, we got our daily close below the 21, which tells us now that until we get a daily close above the 21, we're essentially just chilling. We could be choppy sideways and slightly down. But the one thing I want to discuss is the monthly close, okay? So the monthly, we're seeing, I don't need the EMAs, we're seeing it's in the red, and that's a very important thing historically. Let's go back to previous bull runs. You could see right there, the bull run of 2017, the month of September was the one red month in between about 5 greens and the blow off top. So let's go back to the 2017 bull run, sorry, the 2013, excuse me. And you can see that the month of September, it was green, but it was essentially just a doji, okay? It was a very tiny little 0.6% gain. And this was when Bitcoin was the only show in town. So it was very volatile. But anywho, in that month alone, there was a pretty substantial move to the downside. according to the previous dump we had. So it was building support, but more importantly, it wasn't necessarily the best month out of the rest of the bull run. It was the worst month out of the remainder of the bull run. And that was something that I was setting people up for months ago. I was saying anticipate August into early September to be a relief rally. Then once we get around Rosh Hashanah, everything's going to get confusing. This is the month of confusion. That's what September is. Just like I told you before, even the numerology of the month is a lie. Sept or septa is 7, but it's the 9th month in the Gregorian calendar because it's a lie. It's confusing. It's manipulated on purpose. The real New Year's is March. But anywho, what's important about this is we're still maintaining an uptrend. We've actually made continual higher highs. If you disregard these previous months of April, May, we are actually continuing higher lows and higher highs over and over again. So this is really nice to see. And I believe since the month started at about 46,000, let's see the open price, 47,120. Historically, I still anticipate we close the monthly below 47,000, but that doesn't mean anything because even if we closed at 46.5, we could literally recover to new all-time highs within 2 or 3 weeks. And that would only be a move of about 40% over the course of 3 weeks. Okay, and Bitcoin has done that before easily. We've seen it happen in the past. You can see these green candles here, right there. This candle is 47% gain. This candle was 42% gain. This candle was 36% gain. So Bitcoin can do it. And when this happens, which I'm anticipating, you see how October through this time right here, that's when altcoins bleed out against the Satoshi pairing. So that means Bitcoin dominance increases and the altcoins are stagnant until Bitcoin has a pullback. And during that next pullback we get into perhaps mid-December, that's going to essentially bring in a massive alt season. So we'll have pullbacks between now and then, of course, but I'm discussing the end of the run and I'm discussing how the rest of this run is most likely going to go for the altcoins. It's going to be down sideways until most likely as late as November. Okay, we can see a recovery and it'll look like this. We can see a recovery for the alts, but it'll be sideways. And then into October, November, late October into November, we will start to see recovery. Go ahead and study the the Ethereum chart from the last cycle, and you'll learn a lot about how this all goes because Ethereum is just repeating the same thing it did in the last cycle as well. So you can see right here, another technical level that we brought up in the previous video was the 382 fib. I said I do not see Bitcoin going back to the 236 fib ever again, and it's most likely never going to trade below 40K ever again. I also was very adamant about the 42 to 43K level getting retested, and here we are. Now, I do not anticipate daily closes on like new lows. That would be pretty dramatic. So if we're gonna get that would be a beautiful shakeout. I would like to see lower levels, but I'm not necessarily praying for them because at the end of the day, if Bitcoin breaks structure, that's very bad. Okay. And right now we sort of are in line for a perfect technical retest followed by a bounce. Also, one other thing I could discuss is if we go back to the previous bull run, you will see that around this time of the bull run, anytime we got big red days, let's just show you right here. That's the 2019 cycle. So you see anytime we get these major dips, after the dumps, it's a pretty quick buyback. So you can see right here too, this was a big red dump followed by a big green. Here, red dump followed by a big green. And it was pretty much happening time and time again. And the level that this came down to was the 21 exponential moving average on the weekly chart. Okay, so let's look at where the 21 is now. And you'll see exactly what's going on here. So I'm going to go to the weekly chart and I'm going to bring up my EMAs, and you can see we actually are just hovering on that as a support level. So I still anticipate we will close this next week above this level, but we have between now and the next 6 to 7 days to trade at the lows. I'm not saying we will. I gave everyone a target of the 16th, which was Yom Kippur. So from Yom Kippur all the way over to the 25th of September was the window of time that I gave everyone for a pullback. with more emphasis around the 20th, because the 19th and the 18th of this month were a weekend. And during the weekend, there's no institutional money. The manipulation is much less because there's less liquidity in the market, and it's Bitcoin and crypto only. The stock market is closed, Forex is closed. So it's less volatility. And that's a warning that I gave everyone in my Patreon before the weekend started. So we can see that we got our microcycle high on Rosh Hashanah, and then we came up to highs around the day after Yom Kippur, and then started to dump into today. And I anticipate this bearish energy for the altcoins can last until the 20th, probably the 25th, throughout the rest of the month, potentially, depending on how Bitcoin acts. And then we will see recovery for Bitcoin into the new moon of October, and the new moon being the 6th of October. Okay, so that's the play here, guys. And I'm going to quickly wrap up with the XRP analysis. And we are perfect. So remember what I was telling everyone about the 86-cent level? Well, we came down to 87.5. Like, calling out the bottom at 51 cents on the day of, then calling out seeing $1.40 XRP on the relief rally, then calling 86 cents, and we were within 1 cent of that. Actually, we were within 0.06 cents of that, technically. So this technical analysis is perfectly playing out. And why? Why was I able to determine the 51 cent bottom, the $1.40 top, and the 86 cents on the bottom? Let's go back to Gematria. So we have the 51 cent bottom, again coming back to XRP with the 15 in Chaldean. Everything is as above, so below, reversed. So we were able to determine the bottom of 51 cents because of that, again in a video, right there. And then the top at $1.40, coming back to the 14 in XRP, 1.40. And then that 86 cents coming back to Ripple with the 86. Playing out beautifully, guys. So let's see how this plays. Let's hope for this to hold the 236, because technically, as long as you hold the 236 fib, which is around 86 cents on a daily closure, even a weekly closure is more important, because crypto is very volatile, especially XRP. You can see dips below this level for a moment, but then hold that level as a whole. So this is very exciting to see. You know, like, we're watching it all come to pass. It's beautiful how quickly it's all happened. It's brought a lot of new people to my work. It's also brought a lot of content creators to my work, also giving this channel shout outs. So I appreciate everyone who's starting to open up their mind to utilizing Gematria Numerology and Astrology, and also taking technical analysis a little bit more seriously, because we've seen so many people get sucked into the social media aspect of this market, the Twitter, the TikTok, all this fear and FUD. And it's always been my mission to be calm, patient, and practice a skill, learn a skill. Because when you learn this skill of technical analysis, you can trade this market in a bull or bear market. And that's why we're the waters above wolves. We're not worried about being a bull or a bear. We're not betting on one side or the other. We're following the moon. We are utilizing this esoteric code so that we can get ahead of the masses. We may not be able to get it on the exact day, but we will eventually get it close. And the better we are, the more we practice, because I'm still in my practices as well. We're never done learning. We're never done progressing or advancing in this matrix. The more I practice this, the better I get as well. The more people that join the community that can have gnosis and share their own thoughts, their understanding, we will be able to grow as a community and get even better at utilizing this code, even better as traders, and even better when it comes to our own investment thesis. So again, if anyone's looking to join the Patreon, it is www.patreon.com/watersabove. You can join the Mastermind community membership if you wanted any exclusive access to the posts and access to our Discord. You'll also be able to see whatever I'm personally buying or selling. I update live whenever I'm doing any buying, any investing, or when I'm de-risking any of my projects. Of course, back here around this time, I was focused on de-risking, getting ready for the drop, and now I am moving into my reaccumulation stage, where I plan to accumulate lots of altcoins throughout the months of October, and anything around this dip if the prices get low enough for me to bite. I'm very excited to see all this TA come to fruition, and I believe a lot of other people in this community are as well. So enjoy the rest of your day in the Matrix. Much love.